Hello and welcome back to the third rail. We'll start this first video for the year 2025 with a bit of traffic. I usually take some time off YouTube at the beginning of January, but I left it for a bit longer this year. If you haven't seen my recent community posts, 2025 started with a water leak in the garage for me. This is something that unfortunately happens every 12 to 18 months, and also one of the reasons why I've never bothered painting the concrete walls on show in all my videos. Usually I just put a couple of buckets down and shift stuff out of harm's way while repairs take place in the building, but it was worse this time and I had to dismantle the layout. So, what you are seeing on screen now is no more. Bye-bye Layout 2021. It served me well and for much longer than I had planned. And this is where we are now. It looks very empty, doesn't it? And very messy. The leak is fixed though, everything is dry, so it is time to start the next adventure. What it entails will be today's topic. The layout was always meant to be dismantled, and this was already supposed to happen back in 2023. I had even published a couple of videos documenting the planning at the time. These videos are all in a playlist that I have now renamed Layout 2025. I put a little link at the top. But I'll give you a quick summary. This time I decided to start with a ready-made plan I had seen in the Märklin 0700 track plan book from the 1980s. This is this one. It's plan number 10 on page 69 of the book. As it is heavily weighted towards maneuvers between the terminal and the depot or shunting areas. For the main line, we are extremely limited in terms of capacity and routing. Realistically, only one train can travel on the main line at any one time. But I did like the idea of stuff moving back and forth in the center of the layout, so I had a go at expanding things a bit around this feature. I shifted the terminal to the left and the depot to the right. I reconfigured the center of the layout to isolate the maneuvering traffic from the main line, and I also converted one of the platforms to a pass-through line. I then added parallel tracks to the main line. The combination of these changes increases the functionality of the plan. We can have two trains circulating on the main line, and at the same time the ability to move stuff between the depot and the terminal. We have more routing options with an additional reverse loop on the left. We should be able to set up a few block system options with a capacity of up to 5 trains, I think. The layout is also a bit bigger now, and the additional space is enough to take the transfer table out of storage. And I'm quite looking forward to that bit. Now, I know some of you will be missing the ramps and the long bridge from the last layout, so I have planned a 5-meter long elevated section on the outer main line towards the top of the layout to give it a bit of height. There are many more details available in the playlist I mentioned earlier, but this should give you a rough idea of where this is going. While I was waiting for things to dry, I had another look at my work. There are going to be a few challenges ahead, for example with the electrical configuration of the crossing in blue in the center, as well as other bits and pieces, but I will deal with all that when the time comes. In terms of rules, I am going to follow the same approach as with all other layouts you saw on the channel over the last few years. Basically, I am building a train set to play with my collection of 1980s Märklin items, mostly using technologies available at the time of release. Therefore, I will be using the only period-correct track system suitable for temporary setups at the time, that's M-Track, and since 80% of my locomotives are analog, the driving controls will also be analog. Nothing will be screwed down and wires will be on show, although I'm going to try and keep things a bit more tidy this time. Scenery won't be on the menu, bar a few cardboard buildings maybe, and of course some Märklin accessories. So I am afraid there won't be any advice on rock carving, use of color washes, or application of static grass as the build progresses. Sorry. So I have a plan. I checked I have all the track I need. I might be short of shunting signals for the depot area, but that is not critical for now, and I have a workaround for this anyway. There is one aspect I am a bit worried about at this stage, and this has to do with the shunting and terminal areas. I should be able to leave wagons or coaches or even trains on sidings using strategically placed remote uncouplers. For this to work, the layout needs to be as level as possible, otherwise wagons will roll away. I never had to worry too much about this on my previous temporary layouts, so I could get away with simply using 8mm MDF boards on top of cheap IKEA trestles. This is not going to cut it this time. The boards tend to warp with no support, and the garage floor has a slight slope. So before doing anything else, I will need to improve my makeshift setup to give everything a bit more rigidity. This is what this pile of wood is for. I will build some frames to reinforce the boards, and I might use bolts to help with alignment and leveling. Nothing groundbreaking, I haven't invented anything. The wood is already cut to size, and I just need to assemble the frames. Now this should look like this. It looks pretty straightforward to me, but I'll find out as I go on. Now I will be doing all this off camera, and hopefully we should have a base to work on in the next video. I intend to document my progress over a few videos, as I did for the previous layout, but I am unsure about the format. I could simply do a couple of videos structured around 3 phases, I think, probably installing the main line and the power circuits first, then deploying the signals and configuring the block system, and then finishing with the installation of the station and depot. After that, we should be fully operational. This would be a sort of vlog, very high level, with maybe only a few tips and tricks here and there. Or I can slow things down and be a bit more technical. I'd really love to get your input on this, so feel free to drop me a line in the comment section if you'd like me to cover something specific. Don't be shy or afraid to ask for something you think other people might find too basic. Things are only easy or basic if one knows about them in first place. There is no such thing as a silly request. An empty baseboard is also a good opportunity to stage a few demos. So it's up to you guys. I will monitor the comment section over the next few days and plan the next videos accordingly. And I'm already looking forward to all your input. Whichever way things develop, I am hoping to be able to run trains by the end of February or maybe early March. The channel should then revert to normal operations. But before we get to that stage, we need a baseboard. So it is time for me to get on with the frame, and I will leave things here for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, hopefully enough for you to give it a like, maybe subscribe if you haven't already done so, or even send a super thanks my way if you feel the video was worth it and if you'd like to contribute to the upkeep of the collection. Thanks as ever for your support, and bye for now.